respect for us than they should, less respect for us than they had when America was founded with founding fathers that stood for something of quality and integrity. And we got to get back to that, and I'll do just that when I get to Washington.
All right, thank you, Mr. McGill. Steve Sutherland, would you like to see Roe versus Wade overturned?
Doc, I would like to see Roe versus Wade overturned, and it is because of deeply held spiritual beliefs that I have inside of me that I will not compromise. You see, I believe that we all are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I believe if we, as our founding fathers did, that if we were in fact created by a Creator, then our rights begin the moment we are created. And I believe that that holds true to the innocent child growing inside of a mother's womb. I believe that God knew that child before he or she was formed in that womb, and he was wonderfully and fearfully made. And what does it say about this nation? How barbaric a nation that would destroy the sanctity of life. I will never compromise on this point.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sutherland. Barbara Olshner, would you like to see Roe versus Wade overturned?
Yes, I would. There was no more question than yes, I would.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Dave Shull, once again, would you like to see Roe versus Wade overturned?
Absolutely. I'm pro-life in all cases. We're often cited the instances that say, well, what about the life of the mother? That's a deep-held issue. What about the life of the mother? We can't speak for God. The doctors are not always right. 16 years ago, my mother was receiving surgery. When they opened her up, they discovered inoperable cancer. She was given 6 months to live, told to get her house in order. I just buried my mother last October. We had an additional 16 years with her. My point is, when you believe in God, you believe in God all the time, not just when it's convenient for you.
All right, and Eddie Hendry, would you like to see Roe versus Wade overturned?
Yes, I would. I'm pro-life, no exceptions. I believe that when you decide to have relations with your mate, you know what's going to happen, and that's when the life begins. I have a personal stake in this. My daughter Courtney is 20 years old, and she's developmentally delayed. I can't imagine not having her around and the joy that she gives me in my life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hendry. For our next question, we will begin with Steve Sutherland. When President Nixon created the Environmental Protection Agency by executive order back in the early 70s, the purpose of the EPA was supposedly to reduce our dependence on foreign oil. This dependence has, in fact, of course, increased significantly since then. What are your solutions to our dependence on foreign oil, and would you support measures such as the cap-and-trade legislation currently before Congress?
Our current Congressman Boyd, vowed to vote against cap-and-trade the day before he voted for it. That bill transfers our sovereignty and the wealth that this country has worked hard for 240 years. I believe that our energy independence upon our enemies is ridiculous. It is imperative that we be the strongest nation in the world, and I believe that America is. I will not apologize, and I will challenge President Barack Obama and anyone else in Washington, D.C. This is a city on a hill, a shining city on a hill, and I want my children and my grandchildren to always grow up in the greatest nation the world has known. I believe that we have got to develop a comprehensive energy policy to take this nation forward. And we need to do that through drilling, through natural gas, through coal, through nuclear, through anything possible for us to end our dependence upon the rest of the world, and especially our enemies.
Thank you, Mr. Sutherland. Barbara Olshner, what are your solutions to our current dependence on foreign oil, and would you support measures such as the cap-and-trade legislation currently before Congress?
No, I do not support the cap and trade, and as I said in the beginning, I think we need to focus on issues of the economy and national security, and we need to be tenacious about doing that. We cannot afford this cap and trade to our businesses or to our livelihood. We need to give tax incentives and deregulate some of the things to allow us to have a more complete energy program in this country. Renewable energy, nuclear energy, but you know we need to address some hard issues also. If we are energy dependent on other countries, as Steve has suggested, then why do we export 33% of our oil at 9 million barrels of oil a day? That's a question that I've been trying to seek an answer for, and maybe somebody knows and they'll share with me later. But I think that's a real concern.
Thank you very much, Ms. Olson. Appreciate that. Dave Shull, what are your solutions to our dependence on foreign oil, and would you support measures such as the cap-and-trade legislation currently before Congress?
As an airline pilot, I definitely oppose cap and trade. I'll be losing my job. That's why I decided to run, so I can make Alan Boyd lose his job. But cap and trade, cap and trade's a job killer. It's going to increase your energy cost at home 36%. Do you want to pay 36% more for your air conditioner this summer? We don't have that kind of money laying around, but Washington thinks we do. This is nothing more than an additional way for them to generate revenue. That's all it is. It has nothing to do about global warming or saving the environment. It's nothing more than a money grab, plain and simple. But we're sitting on tens of trillions of dollars right now with oil, natural gas, and coal. Our energy supplies will provide us the way out of this recession, and we can balance our budget. If the energy companies are out there developing our resources, they're going to pay money to the federal government, money that the government can use to pay down the deficit and the debt, money they don't have to come to us for. So our solutions are right beneath our feet.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shull. Eddie Hendry, what are your solutions to our dependence on foreign oil, and would you support measures such as the cap-and-trade legislation currently before Congress?
No, I don't support cap and trade at all. Ask Europe working out for them over there, especially Spain, where they've got 18% unemployment. We need to explore all of our domestic sources of energy, including oil, natural gas, and we need to build nuclear power plants. The sun's energy given through a nuclear power plant with the splitting of an atom is very simple and it's very safe, and it will take care of a lot of our electricity needs. We also need to put back on the free market our energy and keep the federal government out of it. We need to reduce the regulations on it and make it more affordable for people to have energy. This cap and trade bill is about government control again. Your utility bill is going to go up $1,500 in the first 10 years. Now, I know that might not seem like a lot of money to people, but you start tacking that on over time, and it's going to put people in business, out of business. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hendry. Appreciate that. And Ron McNeil, what are your solutions to our dependence on foreign oil, and would you support measures such as the cap-and-trade legislation currently before Congress?
Well, naturally, I'm against cap and trade. It's another boondoggle, and it's another way to raise taxes, and all you people who aren't in that high tax bracket, you're going to get taxed by this bunch. They're going to destroy everything they can destroy about you, and they're going to try to get it where there's more than 50% of the people who are either in the SEIU or they're on the government welfare rolls or they're on federal government payrolls. And when that happens, you've lost your country. So what we need to do is take all the money that's being spent on oil wells all over the world and build them right here, drill them right here in the United States. We've got more oil than all the Middle East combined just in our western United States, not even counting, the Gulf of Mexico or Alaska or any of the rest. Just a strip from western Montana through North Dakota and up into edge of Canada and under Colorado and Rocky Mountains. There's enough oil to last for more than 1,000 years of what we're using today.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. McNeil.